Okay, so I'm going to attach my thread and snip off the excess there. And I'm going to take my thread back to my tie-in point directly above the barb of the hook there. Don't need much, just a nice little pinch there, a little clump of 10 or 12 of those fibers there. And again, I want the tail to be about half the length of the hook shank, so about right there. I'm going to leave those clumps, or the butts, and I'm going to just tie those down. That just helps me build a even underbody. And there we go for the tail. Okay, now for the ribbing part of it. So I just laid it in there against the hook shank, tied the gold in all the way back to the tie-in point, so it's sticking out the back right there. Alright, now we're ready for dubbing here. Use a hare's ear dubbing, basically rabbit hair. That's the name, hare's ear. And don't need a ton of this to start off with, a nice little clump there. And I'll just start with my middle finger and my thumb and just coat the thread with a nice even layer, working my way down. Now I can build a body, an abdomen going forward, try to taper it a little bit, get a little bit thicker as I go. Just trying to build a nice neat taper going forward to about right there. Okay, now I can take my flash that I left behind. I'm going to, over the top away from me, just space it out and build that rib look till I reach the halfway point. Hold it straight up in the air, drop my thread over with my left hand 3 or 4 times. I like turkey tail, just take a turkey tail and about the width of the hook gap is a good way to measure it, about that wide. So I'm going to try to keep that flat and just lay it there against the hook and tie it down. Tie down all the butts and just make sure that I tie it down right against where I ended with the dubbing, so there's no dead spot there. I'm just going to let that hang for a minute while I dub the thorax. It's a little bit looser, not dub it super tight, and go just a little bit thicker so I can get kind of that shaggy look, and up around where there's legs and things like that we see on nymphs. And it also helps us keep that taper that we talked about. And I want to make sure I leave just behind the eye of the hook, leave a little space there that I don't have any dubbing, because remember I need to build a little head, do my whip finisher, but I also need to pull this wing case over the top and tie that down. And so I don't want to get too much stuff packed around there. Okay, once I've tied that down, I can snip off the excess. You're going to have a few little butts sticking out there. I'll just build a nice neat head, cover up any little imperfections, and now I'm ready for my whip finish. And 3 or 4 times there. Snip off the thread. Add a little head cement there. And so there's a hare's ear nymph.